So this podcast is like my love letter to all my partners, to my contractors, to my staff, right? This is, um, yeah, yeah, right. Because I'm such a gentle, tender, uh, person. This is like my love letter to the world, and really, it's going to help if some of the guys that work with me listen to this. They're going to understand why I'm so hard with them, and sometimes, and gentle at other times, and it kind of rounds up the whole situation. To help, is going to help them understand that preparation for crap hitting the fan is a bigger deal than um, trying to make up for crap having hit the fan.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing is some of the stuff that you were saying, you have to you have to pick and choose your battles properly too. So there's a chapter in their next book, Dichotomy of Leadership, where they talk about that very specifically as a brief discussion of it.
Leadership capital.
Well, that is part of it, and I've seen way too many leaders waste their leadership capital on stupid stuff. Like I- I'll tell you something later. Um, it's just uh, like I mean, the best example that I can think about as far as like some of that is definitely the what do you call it? Oh, your mic is coming from your AirPods. That's why it sounds different.
That's terrible. Let me go into my settings.
Wonder what you did. Oh, because you unplugged it and then plugged it back in. That's why.
Yep, bet.
I'm glad Zencaster tells me what you're using.
Yeah, I see that now.
So while you're figuring that out, I'll talk about what I was thinking about. Um, in the next book, Dichotomy of Leadership, Leif tells a story about patches. Patches are a big thing in the military, and especially the SEALs, because the SEALs tend to be able to wear whatever patches that they want on their uniforms. It's all we've kind of talked about it, where the special forces teams are their standards are relaxed. Honestly, it's really just part of the tradition of it. It's not necessarily any particular reason for it. And Jocko was kind of like, all right, we're heading to Ramadi. I don't want to see any patches. We're not doing any patches. And very specifically, he was talking about some of the more obscene patches that they would wear. And he's like, I don't want to see those. Those are very unprofessional, and they end up creating a lot of heartache and pain for people because
Yeah.
so what I was saying is they had some obscene patches and such that were just not professional, and people and it created rifts between the special forces teams and the conventional teams. So Jocko is basically saying, yeah, no, we're done, we're not doing this, we're not doing patches. He completely nixed them, and so the team, they were very frustrated and didn't like it because it's a part of their culture and everything. So, but they went with it, and they took off all their patches. But Leif and a fellow officer went and designed a patch anyway, like, or two patches anyway, and they secretly distributed it among all of the other among the team except for Jocko and the LCPO, uh, which I don't think LCPO was the correct term, but anyway, because I can't remember it in my head. It is my head is just shot right now. So, Phil, okay, blink. You were staring at the computer so intensely, and you're muted.
It's making me nuts today, but I think I finally have it set up. I'm still on Yeti, and
Yeah.
there it is.
Oh, you sound so good. Okay. Um, so they took it over with them to Ramadi, and eventually, as always happens, it got back to Jocko that they have the patches. Well, Jocko made a choice, and he's like, he didn't do anything about it. He could either like bring down the hammer on the entire team, and because they seriously disobeyed him, very specifically, they disobeyed a direct order, and he could have brought down the hammer on them all that. Not like necessarily court martial type, if that's what you're thinking.
He could have.
He really could have if he wanted to.
Yeah. They were worried about it.
Yeah, but they chose not. But he chose not to because he realized a lot of different things, and some of that is you pick and choose your battles. This was one of those things where he's like, yeah, it's not worth fighting over this one. I'm just glad that all of the super obscene patches are not there, and we only have the one, and that's it. Like, and so that's one of those things where it's like there are times where you need to be hard and hard nosed on your people under you, and hard nosed about certain things. But then there are times when you do not be you don't need to be, because and one of the big things, as Phil alluded to, is leadership capital. Because when you are hard nosed about things that really don't matter, and people know that they don't matter, you end up wasting your leadership capital. So that when you do try to come in and be hard nosed about the stuff that matters, people aren't going to listen to you.
When everything matters, nothing matters.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. All right. So the chapter of the day is decentralized command. Woohoo!
Love it. What a long chapter. 48 minutes on audio. I don't know how long it is in the book.
I love the chapter. It's a good long chapter. A lot of it is just the anecdotes that they talk about. Let's see. In front of me, I have, it starts on page 69, goes to page 191. So, what is that? 22 pages? So, yeah,
I would imagine it had to have been more than that.
it's a good chapter. And I really like the principle and the idea behind it because it's extremely important.
Yeah, I think so too. This is I think this is one of the bigger chapters in the whole book where they in a hard way, in a way, the chapter is hard to follow in the audiobook, right? I put timelines in my notes. I have 6 pages of notes for this chapter, and the they start off with the antidote, then they kind of jump around a little bit. Then so they start off with, yeah, they have these snipers on the roof, and they're about to call in God, the wrath of God, and right. We'll joke more about that later. But then they kind of go back, and then they go to their training and about mount the mount school, and then they kind of go back into it after they do a little background to tell you why it's such a serious event, and then they kind of give more details about it, and then they go into the business case, and it goes on.
Back and forth and back and forth.
But in the first 4 minutes, it's like the first book of the Bible is like, yeah, boom. There's so much in these first 4 minutes that I have 3 pages of notes.
Well, then dive into it because if you've got notes, let's go.
Well, okay, so they start off with just saying South Central Mahdi reckoning, right? So this is, they're about to give back some hell, and they're really about to level this whole building. In my opinion, they're not going to do a sniper on sniper combat. They're going to take a tank and blow this building to pieces.
Yeah, because sniper on sniper just, yeah, it's just easier to.
Yes, yes, it's not going to be this romantic chase and fight of talent and art. Yeah, it's going to be God's fire coming down on um, whatever poor suckers are under this guy. So I don't want to spoil it, right? So through the story a little bit, and I think that's a great cliffhanger, right? What's going to happen? So they they start off with this case, right? That they're called in. There's enemy combatant on a roof with a weapon. They don't have really good visualization of it because the guys aren't really showing themselves. They just know it's not looking good, right? And they're nervous about it. They're super nervous because snipers can cause a lot of targeted damage. So every second is potentially a life gone. I mean, snipers, they can't kill that many people that fast, but in 3 minutes they could easily kill 10, 20 people. So unlikely.
Oh, and not just that, but a sniper can take out your chain of command.
Yeah, yeah, they can make a targeted mess. um so it's beautiful. I don't think these guys are so much worried about taking out the who was taken out, because in their, I can think, I'm sure in their mind, yeah, there's difference, but um there, I mean, any loss is a loss and they've already suffered enough.
Yes, I'm just pointing out that snipers cause chaos. That is the goal of a sniper, or in my view.
Yeah, yeah, they really strike fear into the heart of the enemy because you don't know when you're going to be attacked. You don't know where it's coming from. You always have to be on guard. And it's like, the alternative to sniper fire is random mortar fire.
There's a. Do you remember the series Band of Brothers?
Yeah,
Did did you watch it?
very little bit. The a lot of that, those kind of movies I don't get into too much, but I saw parts of it and I just don't think I could sit through the whole thing.
There's a there's an episode where they cover a sniper, where they do have a good portion of the episode dedicated to dealing with a sniper. um, I think it's a very good episode to that just conveys to people the fear that gets created when a sniper is there, because a lot, especially in urban combat and well, just anywhere, really, you're going, your troops going, and your buddy just drops dead next to you. Like that's kind of what ends up happening, and then you're trying to track them down, you're trying to find them, you're trying to figure out what's happening, and who, and you're trying to determine, all right, what cover is good cover, what cover is going to protect you from this, what cover is going to hide you, that type of stuff. And anyway, so just if y'all are interested in trying to understand how scary it is to be on a battlefield with a sniper, I think that Band of Brothers, that one episode, I don't know which one it is, but it's towards like the end of the series. I think they do a fairly good job of conveying that feeling. Now, mind you, you're sitting at home in your living room on your couch watching it. You're not going to get the true feeling of it, but it just at least.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of, I maybe should have saw that before I went through this chapter. And it's exciting because they get this call, and armed enemy fires on top of a building, appear to be snipers, comes over the radio. Right now, the SEALs have two sniper teams out there. They know they have enemy snipers out there. They know they have insurgents. They know they have all kinds of stuff. They're out in enemy territory trying to take over. And later on, we see this is part of a really big offensive. Um, Now, Jocko, he's at this point, he's doing command and control of over 30 SEALs, with including Iraqis, and he's coordinating with, I think, two army battalions. He gets into these details later on, but I think it's two army battalions, almost 100 armored vehicles, tanks, Bradleys, Humvees with machine guns on top of them, all that good stuff. And he's trying to command and control all this while including his two sniper teams and whatever other teams he has out there. He, they don't talk about it, but obviously he has ground teams that are ready to jump out and reinforce whoever gets hunkered down, while the sniper teams are watching overhead, providing some fire, keeping bad guys' heads down without drawing too much attention to themselves. Now, the it's interesting and challenging because the sniper teams are providing not just fire, but they're also providing eyes on the ground and feeding that up through the command teams. So I got the understanding that he doesn't have direct control of the two sniper teams, but he is somehow not only responsible for them, but also um, dependent on them to control the whole battlefield. So and they just throw out the command that the only way that he could lead all this is through decentralized command. So they throw out their key term there.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it.
The and I thought this was fun, where he goes in there and says Jocko was confident because he had groomed and trained these guys. He trusted that their assessment of the situation that they were in and their assessment of the mission accomplishment would be taken into consideration, and they would make tactically sound decisions independent of his direct feedback if things changed. So that going into it, this I kind of want to put a little sidebar right here, because that's where now we kind of we make a little micro jump in the story, and he stops talking about the guys, the emergency snipers, and he's talking about his leadership style and how he's groomed them and kind of some of the stuff that the trust that he has in them. Do you want to jump in at this point, or should I keep rambling?
Um, be honest, go, keep going. You're carrying this. I'm okay with it.
So okay, cool. Right, decentralized command. You're just delegating. So, um, so he's always leading with authority and courage, and limited information, and he expects his subordinate leaders to do the same. To even though they're not, not colonels, they need to be able to lead with courage, with the authority that he's given them within the bounds that they have, and to know those bounds. And this is just a sidebar in my experience. It is so hard to know your bounds, how far you should push that, and how to relay the information up, letting the command know that you are moving outside of the bounds that you are assigned because the mission requires it. And that the ability to do that and the trust you have to have in the guys to do this, and they have to have in themselves, is a unilateral equation that doesn't come from just saying, hey, go forth, I trust you. This comes from uh, planning ahead of time, having your standard operation procedures, having your full plan set up on contingencies, and understanding how each other work, and having kind of had some pain points in the past where you've talked about it, you've suffered through some stuff, and you work it out. So the while they make it at this point sound magical, uh, this we find out later on that they've been in this area working together for about 3 months. So